Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Toy Story 4 from Pixar. It is from 2019, and it's an hour and 41 minutes long, and of course it's the gang all back together again, possibly for the last time. What could happen? Well, I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, but uh, it's a major change by the end of this film, and it's upset a lot of people. I'm going to start off with that pretty much. It upset a lot of fans that of this film. It's not as horrific. It's actually a happy ending. Uh, I don't want to. I'm not going to give that away. It's actually a happy ending. It's just not in the opinion of all the viewers. Even though it fits completely within everything they've set up for these characters um, in all the films. It's This is all about, as we know, the reason why we connect so strongly with these films and why these are the cornerstone of the Pixar brand is because we've all had toys growing up. I believe, I would imagine, we all had toys in which we invested our imagination and created worlds and created a partnership, maybe a relationship, especially when we're very, very little. Using our imagination to talk to these characters that either we saw from either film or television or uh, books or anything else, and then or possibly even create totally on our own out of nowhere. Invisible Friends even fall into that category a little bit. But in this film, of course, we've all had toys, and it's not exactly a completely original concept. We've had other films that involve toys coming to life, like Small Soldiers, way back. But it's and sometimes it's always not so happy and fun. It's sometimes a little bit sinister when toys come to life, like Chucky. But so the idea that our toys can come to life and they do everything they can to hide their reality from us, but at the same time they have a life when we're not around, and it's kind of in a way comforting to know that even when you're not playing with them, they have a life. They can enjoy themselves. They do their own thing. You're asleep or you're out of town or whatever else. The toys are alive, and they miss you. And that's also a very comforting thing. It's something that we all can kind of understand, and it's really kind of sweet. It's a neat fantasy, whether you're a kid or an adult, thinking back on all the toys that you loved as a kid. Um, so yeah, that's why it connects to this. When things change, when kids grow up, when toys get passed from one to another, that bond is. We like to imagine that bond is still strong. We have strong memories associated with that playtime. I know growing up with having Star Wars toys, the very first Star Wars toys, gives you an idea how old I am. Um, I built elaborate worlds in the basement family room kind of thing of our house. Okay, it was just a basement, but it had a pool table, a ping pong table, and couches and carpeted area with a TV and all sorts of stuff. It was a little rec room kind of thing. But I basically, if we didn't use a pool table and ping pong table enough, I covered it in elaborate galactic worlds and had humongous stories with the characters I knew and loved so well from the films. And it's still a strong memory from back in that time. So it's kind of, I fully understand it from the human point of view. It's neat to imagine that the toys feel the same. That right now, all those toys, all those action figures are in a sealed case, and I get a little stressed when I think about this. Like, they've been inside sealed cases, plastic, like tackle boxes and things like that, just piled on top of each other for years, and now I'm very upset. If I imagine that was reality, oh God, they must hate me because they're just suffocating on top of each other by the mountainful in a tub, or for the older ones, a clear plastic box. A series of them. I still have them from the 70s. Yeah, and 80s. Anyway, enough about me. Um, this movie starts off with answering a huge question that some fans have, or some that never realized it was a problem. But Bo Peep was missing from later films, and people are like, well, what happened to her? This film, at the very start, gives you a clear answer as to why she was no longer in those films. And Barbie sort of took over. She was more of a brand name kind of thing, and more visibility kind of thing. Barbie was kind of the female doll lead in the later films, in a sense, beyond Jessie, of course, which, she's a cowgirl, but yeah, it's it's she gets given away. Molly, Andy's little sister, doesn't want her anymore, and this freaks out Woody, because he's in love with her. He pretty much loves her. They have a life beyond our own. Part of the thing about this also is the idea that, do these toys have lives that are built just from our imaginations? Do they exist solely because they're connected to us? Or do they exist autonomously? And this story also gives us that answer to a pretty huge degree. It can be debated, but it's a pretty huge degree. There's such a thing as lost toys. There's such a thing as toys that are disconnected from owners, that do not have a kid, and they thrive, and they live, and they have all sorts of adventures without a direct connection with a single kid. But they do still enjoy it when kids are around. They seek out like a birthday party or something, or a playground where kids will pick them up and play with them just for a moment as they're passing through town, like an RV park or something like that, and then they let them go. Or they could be adopted and taken home with a kid. And that's they're cynical about it. They're not like, oh no, we can't get attached. I don't want to get attached. And then some are, but the deepest part of them are just like, well, maybe I'll get to be taken home. Maybe I will be kept. And there is a little bit of struggle here with some dolls, toys that seek a person, seek a kid more than anything as a friend and a companion. And some kids don't give a crap when given the opportunity. There's a little bit of a struggle there, and you get to see Woody dealing with all sides of this, because he's getting ignored at the very beginning of the film. Bonnie has all the toys out and making Jesse sheriff and having all sorts of adventures, and Woody gets stuck in the closet. And he's not resentful at all, but he is struggling with kind of being left behind. And when Bonnie comes home from kindergarten, the brand new pal, which I'm not spoiling at all because he's humongously popular, and he is a big part of the promotion of the film. And he also has his own series of Disney Plus, Forky, played by Tony Hale. You know him from Arrested Development as Buster and Veep. He's been in so many things. He has provided cartoon voices, but live action as well. But he's everywhere. But he plays he's such a simple thing. He doesn't understand how he exists. He thinks he's garbage. He thinks he's trash. But he has worth in Bonnie's eyes. She created him. He is a toy, and it's Woody's job sort of to help him understand what that means. And it's, to me, the Forky animation, which differs slightly from the animation of all the other characters, because he is not a fluid a character that moves with arms and legs and a head. He doesn't do any of these things, but you see how he when he reacts with the solid surface, how they animated him is just so perfect. It's so realistic. It's a work of art to me. It's so beautifully done. It's simple. It's something that probably is not a big deal to some people. To me, it's like seeing hair animated by Pixar for the first time, like Merida in Brave. Just all those red curls. It's so beautifully done. This is the opposite end of the spectrum in a sense of character-wise, but and detail and everything else. But Woody dragging him along the road at one point, especially seeing on the big screen, and I have not seen this, I don't think, since I saw it in the theaters in 2019. It's so freaking good. Take a look at it again. I honestly just appreciate the animation for what it is. I mean, everything has been elevated from the previous one, even from Toy Story 3, which looked amazing. And if you go back and look at the first one from 1995, it's night and day in the quality. But of course, technology, the everything else is improved by leaps and bounds because of Pixar and because of Disney, and it shows. It shows. Man, I'm gonna gush over the animation forever. I could, but I won't. Of course, everybody's back. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen. Annie Potts plays Bo Peep, but Annie Potts you might know as from Ghostbusters. Why can't I say her name? My brain is not allowing me to do that, but oh well. Oh wow, Christina! I forgot that Christina Hendricks. Remember her from Firefly, and she's a bunch of other things. But she was Gabby, Gabby. She's another pull string doll. Oh, and beyond Tony Hale as Forky, we get Key and Peele, comedic team. They had their own show on Comedy Central, and they've done their own things. Jordan Peele's doing Twilight Zone and other things like that. But Key and Peele are Ducky and Bunny, and they add another level of comedy to this that is just astounding. I love this film so much. I know everybody's sort of pooping on because it doesn't end the way I want it to. You know what? It shouldn't. And the fact that they didn't go with the easy ending is great, and it shows growth for the characters. But Ducky and Bunny, love them. I could watch a series of shorts. I don't know if I could watch an entire movie with them, but they're great. They're great on their own. I hope they make more stuff with them. But of course, Keanu Reeves is also in this too. He's Duke Kaboom. He's pretty much. And they kind of got in trouble with the Evel Knievel people because there was a toy that had a pump action ratchet. I had the toy when I was a kid, Evel Knievel, where he's on a motorcycle and he jumps and he's motorized and he can go over ramps and do flips and all sorts of stuff. He's a Canadian version and voiced by Keanu Reeves. And Keanu Reeves has the very fat last line in this entire film. So watch it all the way through the end of the credits and you'll get to see what he says. Even actually, there's a little Bill and Ted reference through the credits as well, where he gets to say "whoa," so that's kind of neat too. Of course everybody is still Joan Cusack and everybody else, all the rest of the team, the crew is still in this. They lost Don Rickles. They actually pieced together his role from previous voice work he had done in other films, in other Toy Story films. I don't think he has a whole lot of lines anyway, but they got to use him still, even though he had passed away in 2017. So there's a little tribute to him at the end, and one of the animators as well. Wallace, Sean, everybody else, and John Katzenberger. Everybody's in this. I know I'm forgetting one more thing. Oh, Easter eggs. There's so many freaking Easter eggs, and I wasn't even fully paying attention half the time because I just drink this in automatically just when I watch it. But there's certain moments when you know that something's going to pop up. When they're exploring new areas, new spaces, there is always Easter eggs galore. And there's A113 shows up at some point, I'm sure, but I don't remember where it is. It could be a license plate. It usually is a license plate. Well, at one point, certain characters, I will not say who, go into a hidden area at this one location. That's vague, but there's a bunch of toys hidden inside there, and that's where they go to find Duke Kaboom. And it's kind of a hive of scum and villainy. It's very much a cantina type atmosphere, like from out of Star Wars, and it's kind of shady lights. It's like a nightclub kind of thing looking area. And at one point, as the characters are moving through the scene, you can see a little Star Wars Kenner action figures from 1978. You can see Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ponda Baba, or as we knew him back then, Walrus Man, fighting, or they're dancing. I don't know what they're doing, but I didn't see this before when I saw the original film. It's just a very short scene, and I love it. I know every time I watch this thing, I'm sure there's another 50 things I'll find. And I'm sure there's a list out there somewhere that has a complete catalog of every little single Easter egg. Go find it. I don't have time to go through it with you right now, but I would if I could. It'd be nice. It'd be neat. Anyway, it's, to me, I love it. I know it's bothersome to some people because of how things work out for specifically one character, but you got to feel good for that character. There's no death. Nobody dies. I'll spoil that. You're not going to be dealing with, oh no, I don't want to see it because I don't want to see X character die. Well, you're not going to get that. But you get a resolution for a character that changes everything for the Toy Story franchise. That, yeah, they could do a Toy Story 5, but would they revert things, or would they tell a story from the past? I don't know. They're breaking up the band. Let's just say that. Sorry if you haven't seen it yet. You should see it. These are the kind of things that are high profile enough that when they're on Disney Plus, or if they're in the theaters, you go see it. So odds are you've probably already watched it if you're watching me talk about it. I don't think you need my advice to tell you watch Toy Story from Pixar. Holy crap! I mean, come on. So, yeah, it deserves multiple viewings, and I think I understood it. The decisions made for that character a whole lot better on the second viewing. I understood what built up to it and how those decisions were made. So, yeah, that's just me, but maybe you'll still be upset about it. I have no idea. I'm not you, and you don't have to like it. So, either way, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
265.
265. Come on. Okay. Feels like we've seen this before, but it's not. It's another documentary. I imagine it's just one episode because I don't know if you can really stretch this out into a series, but it's probably National Geographic. They love to do this stuff, and they dumped a bunch on us last October. It's shark related. Killer shark versus killer whale. Yep, that's what we're watching next. Killer shark versus killer whale on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.